if you were waiting.
Hello.
Ah,
It's,
Doug, today you're
yeah,
hosting. So go ahead.
yeah. Hello,
Ah,
everyone. Welcome to our session today. So
mhm.
today, our topic could be on. I'm trying to read. It's a long one,
It
but
is.
basically, it's basically on cultural identity for children, teaching your toddlers about their Ghanaian heritage while living in America. So if you attended our previous um what do you call it, session or podcast, we have been talking about we explained that we both live in America and we are Ghanaians married to Americans. Okay, so basically white guys too. So we just try to kind of share how we are navigating this life with our partners or basically our family. And it feels like we both have like some common
A lot
what
of
word can I
commonality
use?
characteristics.
we we have some similarities, so it's nice when we are able to meet and then share our experience. So thank you for joining us today, and please, when you join, kindly subscribe, kindly
Yeah,
share the video, and make sure you like this video. If you don't like the video, YouTube is not going to share it or is not going to recommend it to other people. So please kindly share the video on and like for us. Comment as we chat. We love to hear from you too. So um I'm Augustina on this page. Most of you know me as Tina. I'll let Marian introduce herself. So
Hi, my name is Marian, and that's how we're going to go with it. But
yeah,
my channel is
exactly.
Crafty at Joe, and I started it last year. So I was home with my newborn, and I was bored. I told my husband, I'm bored. He said, okay, find a hobby. So I decided I wanted to learn how to sew. So there was a lady at my church who offered to teach me how to sew because I had told her in the past, prior to me even getting married and getting pregnant, that I wanted to learn how to sew. But then she lives between Michigan and Florida. So she'll be here
Yeah, down the pit off.
in the summer months, and then when the winter is approaching, she goes to Florida. So she was teaching me how to sew, and when it's time for her to go, she goes, and then my machine will either break down or something will happen and I won't continue with it. But then I knew how to crochet and I also wanted to learn how to knit. So I bought the things for knitting and I couldn't figure out how to do the knitting. So I'm like, you know what? I learned how to crochet in primary school when I was in grade two all the way to like grade six. It used to be a trend. It will come, all the school kids will be doing it, and then it will go away. So that's how I learned how
Yeah.
to do the crochet. I'm like, okay, since I'm bored and I want to do something and I already know how to do the crocheting, let me just do that. So I decided to do a crochet temperature blanket and I decided to record it. And that's how come I started my channel. That's why I began the
Yeah.
channel. And I'm on social media watching videos and I see Dr. Augustine. I'm like, oh, she's in Zima because I think your video I watched was you teaching your husband the language or something. You
Yeah,
said he's
Benzema language. Yeah.
yeah. So that was one of the videos that caught my attention. I'm like, oh, okay. So I started following you guys on Instagram. I think that's where I first watched you guys. And then
Okay.
I'll see your post. I'm like, wow, this is very similar to things that I'm going through too. So I'll either like or comment. And then that's how we got connected. And now we are here. So from watching their videos, I noticed they have a toddler. I noticed she's from Ghana. I noticed she's in Zima. I noticed she's Catholic, and I'm all of those things. So I'm like, oh, and she's a vibe, and she has a lot of knowledge about online marketing or like digital marketing and how to create your own product and stuff. And because I was home and I was kind of bored, So I'm like, yeah, I might as well learn all these things because these are valuable skills that will help me someday if I decide to go back into the main workforce. But now, yeah, that's how it all began. That's how we started our collaborations. So yes, I hope I'm not talking too much. I
No,
tend
no,
to
you're okay. I'm also even trying to share the life, you know. I'm trying to share it. So
I tend
yeah,
to get
we
carried
set up our stream here to be able to go live on both Facebook and here, and for some reason, StreamYard isn't allowing it. So we're like,
yeah.
okay, we I guess we'll just use what we have. But so thank you so much, Crafty Ajo, for the introduction. That was a very nice and detailed introduction, and I appreciate that. So yeah, that was good. That was a good one. So we have a list of questions here, about 8 questions that we are going to go ahead and answer. Okay, so
Okay.
our topic, as we said, is on cultural identity for
Yes.
children, teaching your toddlers about their Ghanaian heritage while
Mhm.
living in America. So our first question is, I'm going to be your host today. So just so you know, if you see me asking all the questions, I'm going to be your host today. So our first question is, how do you balance honoring your Ghanaian roots with
Mhm.
integrating American customs when raising your children in the US?
All right. Honoring my Ghanaian roots, integrating American culture whilst raising my toddler. So
Yes.
first off, everybody here speaks mostly English. So if I want my child to understand my language, it would be solely on me to make sure that she knows it. And I have been speaking to her in the language, even though she's yet to speak sentences. She says a few words. Her popular words are oh and no, no, yeah. So I try to speak the language to her. Like if I'm teaching her alphabets and I say ah apple, I try to say something else in ah. In like in a different
Zuma.
language that I know for her. Sometimes I forget it, but I try to teach her the sounds instead of teaching her the letters. I try to teach her the sound of things, and it's similar in our dialect to ah. It's
Yeah,
also like in the Fanti tree and in Zima
yeah.
language. Also, I make her speak to my mom and my siblings over the phone, and they talk
Mm-hmm.
to her in our language. They call her with her Ghanaian name over the phone, and sometimes she engages. Sometimes she'll look into the phone like this, and she will smile and interact with them. And when she's doing something, so I noticed that anytime she's doing something she's not supposed to do, I use the local language to scold her to stop like, hey, Maya. So I was telling my mom that I just realized that anytime she's doing something she's not supposed to do, I use the local language to try and
Stop her
correct
from
her.
learning.
And then my mom says if you do that, then she's going to be afraid of the language. But the truth is, she's not. She's not afraid. She thinks I'm playing or something when I say it.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid, but I try to engage with her in like when I try to speak the language with her when she's doing something or because now she doesn't understand explanations. So yeah. And also food. I My husband is American, so I make a lot of American food at home, but I also like to eat my Ghanaian food. So my toddler eats both food. She likes food. I'm not going to say she's a foodie. She loves food like her mom.
That's good. That is
and,
good. I struggle
and
to
yeah,
feed this boy over here. We have to fight with him before he eats anything.
he will start eating. So I think it's a stage. So right now she's becoming a little picky.
Mm-hmm.
The way her pickiness is weird. You give her maybe sausage links in the morning. Today she'll eat it all.
Mm-hmm.
for 3 days time, give her the same sausage links. She'll throw it all on the floor. You give her bread today, she'll eat it all. You give it to her
Mhm.
time, she'll throw it all on the floor. So it varies, but then she likes food.
Yeah,
So
that's what this boy has been doing over here.
it
Like you
changes.
give him something, you think he likes it, the next day he doesn't want anything. He doesn't want it. So
Yeah, with my toddler, she eats everything. She eats both American food. She loves Ghanaian food. She was eating emutua and peanut butter soup and chicken. She was eating banku. She was eating fufu. Her favorite is actually the emutu and peanut butter soup. The banku is
that's
her
good.
favorite, but she loves it. She loves rice. So I'll make wachi, she'll eat. I'll make jollof rice, she'll eat. I'll make plain rice. Like anything rice with stew, with soup, anything she will eat. But then these days, she's becoming picky with that too. Like she'll eat some and then she'll throw it away. Now, what she's into, her big sister likes ramen, and this girl will swallow the ramen like it's,
Oh wow.
I'm telling you. She goes,
That's
keep
nice.
yeah. So
That's really good.
she eats everything. I like that about her. She's been like that since she was a baby. Like ever since she started eating, she was eating everything. So that really warms me up because I don't have to stress out about her not eating. And
Yeah,
clothing,
this one
clothing.
has been fighting with us every time, so
He will change. He will start eating and be like, wow, he's eating all my food in the house. Yeah, so for clothing also, I try to inculcate that in our clothing. But the thing is, I've not been able to sew actual African print clothes for her. But then when she was
Mhm.
a baby, I'll put her, when we were older, like, I will say older, when we were babies, they'll put us on like
Mhm.
a cloth and take
Yeah,
pictures.
yeah.
I try
Mhm.
to reenact
Dressed us
that.
in the
And then
traditional
I'll
way.
exactly. So when I had her, my brother bought me this, the fabric they buy the women who are
Yeah.
giving the blue and white fabric. My younger brother bought me a full piece of that
Wow.
and then bought me the necklace, what is it called? Ahenema, what is that called? The beads. What's the
Yeah, I don't even
I've forgotten
remember.
the fancy name for the beads. Yeah,
Yeah.
bought some of that, bought some for the baby. So I was doing monthly photo shoots. I'll put her on the cloth and I'll do it. And then when she
Yeah,
started
I
sitting
saw
and
I saw
crawling,
those pictures. Yeah.
yeah, and when she started sitting and crawling, we couldn't do it on that
See
anymore
that,
because
yeah, you won't. He will be moving around. I I was doing monthly pictures with him also, and he won't even lay down for me to take the pictures, or he
yeah,
won't even sit
so
down. He will be on the
yeah,
move.
but
So.
then the early pictures I have her in
Mhm.
that to express my cultural parts of like my culture, my heritage to her, transmit it to her so she can also know, okay, this is where I come from. Yes, I'm American, but I'm also Ghanaian because my mom is Ghanaian. So yeah,
Mhm.
now she may not understand, but when she gets older and she sees it, those will be things she can talk about with her friends. Yeah, this is me when I was a kid in my cultural African apparel. And this is me when I was a kid in my American outfit. So we try to incorporate both cultures into everything that we do. So I think, yes, I've said a lot.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was getting the man of the house to share the video for us.
Okay, thank you. Thank
That
you.
is awesome. Like you have said it all, and it's basically everything you have said is what I'm also doing.
Nice.
Integrating the food, making sure he eats the food, the Ghanaian food, and then also trying to talk to him in the Ghanaian language. And you are not wrong. It's kind of weird. It's about sometimes using the Ghanaian language to reprimand her.
Yeah,
So that is the same thing I do. Like I feel like it's natural, That is the language we have known growing up, So in case you just go off, like when you're off, that is what you start speaking. That's the language you start speaking. Yeah. So you're not wrong about that. But some of the things we do, trying to introduce him to the Ghanaian language,
oh,
African music like Afro beats and all. See how he's going to react to them, you know. So yeah, I'm still trying to get him. I'm like, hey, you will know how to dance. I know my children here do not know how to dance. They don't they don't have the rhythm. But I'm like, hey, you must develop that rhythm because
My
you have a
toddler
Ghanaian blood
can
in
dance.
you. Yeah.
My toddler can dance. So I am doing my internship at my church, and I'll take her with me. One time she was sitting in the car seat. I had just come in and I'm trying to set up my office, and she goes, "No, no, no, no," like she's singing something. She's mouthing something and shaking. And some of the older folk at my church are like, "Did you see that? Did you see?" Like they were so surprised to see her. She's vibing, singing to her own song and just dancing. I'm like, this girl. Sometimes
That's
she'll be
good.
standing there and she'll just be dancing. So with the
That's
dancing, yeah,
that is really good. That
going
is
to be
really
dancing, I
good.
know that.
That's really good. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah. So basically we've answered question one. The
Yeah.
next question is, what unique challenges have you encountered as a Ghanaian American interracial couple, and how do you overcome them? So, for example, if there are any unique challenges you have encountered, you can share. If not, we can just move on to another one. Yeah.
So I'll say with the challenge, it has to do with like community, not having
Mm.
like a village after you've had
Yeah.
your kid. Because back
Yeah. Mhm.
home, you have your child and you don't really have to do anything because the mothers or the women in the community will come and help you out, even if you don't have
Mhm.
your mom around. It's not the same here. So that was
Yeah.
really tough. Like before I had her, I feel like I had prepartum depression.
Oh, okay.
I was stressed about the unforeseen. I'm like, I feel like I'm going to be alone. I feel like I won't have anybody because my husband had to go back to work after some time. And
Yeah.
with my pregnancy, it was high risk. So he took time off
Hmm.
earlier so he could be around because I had to be going for constant doctor appointment for them to make sure that everything is going well, okay with the
Yeah.
and I was so worried. I'm like, so when he goes to work, what am I going to do? And I was constantly worried about it. I would cry. Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night crying. I'll call my mom over the phone crying, and then she'll start crying, and then I'll be crying too. And then my younger sister will call, and she'll also be crying. So we're all crying over the phone because I was
It's
stressed.
just really tough. It's
I
really
felt
tough,
like
you
I was
know.
going to be alone. Like I have my mother-in-law is amazing. My husband's stepmom and his dad are great. But the culture here, everybody's doing their work. Everybody's going to work.
Yeah, it's not like in, especially it's not like in Ghana.
Ghana, your mom will leave whatever she's doing and come and live with you for
Yeah,
some time and make
you
sure
have cousins and aunties. Everyone wants to take
exactly,
care of you. Like the support
exactly
system is very good back home, you
like
know.
you get
And so,
massage. I remember when we lived in the city, our neighbor who lived upstairs at where we live had a baby during the eclipse,
mhm,
2006 eclipse. She had a kid and she didn't have family around. My mother will wake up
mhm,
early in the morning, go to this woman's house, make sure
yeah,
she massages the woman, massages the baby, make sure her other kids have food to eat, and then she would go to work. So I grew up seeing women
yeah,
help other women who have just put to bed. So because of
yes,
all the stress, I actually signed up for they had this at home visit service, but it's not the same. Because the person comes to your house, spend 1 hour, 2 hours, they are gone. You are still by yourself carrying your baby.
yeah,
Stressed out. I was
that's
so
true.
worried about like after I had her, everything was okay. And I could have left the same day, but I didn't want to go home. So like if I go there, my husband
It's
will
hard.
then I'll be alone. So that's one thing that was very challenging for me. Like that
Mhm.
stressed me out. So I'll say that's the difference. Here, everybody is more of me, myself, and my nearest nuclear family. But back home, we are all about me, myself, my brothers and sisters, their children. It's like everybody
Yeah.
involved. That was
Yeah,
one thing that really got to me. Yes, but
yeah,
I
and
don't know if I answered the question right, but
you
that's
you
one
did,
thing.
you did. And as you have said, it's very that particular aspect of our lives
Mhm.
is very challenging as Ghanaians living in the United States. Like we believe that it takes a village to raise a child, you know.
Exactly.
And so once you have a child, you have the community around you. And the community, if I say the community, I'm referring to your mother, your siblings, your aunties, your uncles. They're all around to help you, okay, through that journey, at least through like 1 year. Yeah, at most, like through
Yeah.
1 year. And so you have that support, you know. But for example, here we really do not have that support system, you know. It's just you and your husband, or even if your family, the family is around, you not get them like around like the way you get
Hour
in Ghana. Exactly. So that is the most challenging aspect for me too. Like as you said, you had a high risk pregnancy. I did have a high risk pregnancy too. At that time I was trying to graduate from school, and so I had to take like three or 4 weeks
Hmm.
off. So I had a bed rest, or what do you call it?
Wow. Yep,
I've
that's
forgotten the
heavy.
word. Yeah. I had to rest. I had the bed rest for like, is it 2 weeks or something? And usually the me, if it's not that way, I'll always be on campus and working on my research. And at this point I had no option. They were like, I think the first time we went to check, they were like, the placenta is not fully attached. So if I stressed myself, it
Wow.
was we were going to lose the pregnancy and stuff. So then I was like, okay, I agree. I'm going to have the bed rest as recommended. So, but apart from that, even that one, I had to always be going to the hospital, like almost
You would
four
go to.
days,
Mm-hmm.
every 4 days in a week. Like I
Wow.
couldn't eat. I was always throwing up, so
Wow.
I always had to go for infusion. So, and sometimes I was always crying because I felt like if my mom was here, or if my siblings or any of my aunties was around, I would not be going through this. Like it will be easier on me, you know. Because my husband too cannot just stay home every time. He has to go to work and all those things. So yeah, that is the challenging aspect of living here as a Ghanaian, having a child, or like, because the last time I saw that someone was saying on, is it TikTok and Facebook, that yeah, why do women always want their parent to come around, like African women want their parent to come around when they have babies or something. And there's no need, because if your husband is there to support you, there's no need having your wife, your parents or anyone around. And I was just saying in my mind that, do you know what women go through,
The person
just
is
that
not
you,
talking anything.
yeah, just that you as a husband, you are around. It's just not enough, you know. You will be around and all those things, but it's just not enough if you don't understand. And that is what we grew up seeing. That is what we grew up, we know. So it is implanted in us. Hello, Superstar Don. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Kindly like the video. That's how we grew up. So yeah, it's basically part of us. You can't get us to change it, you know. So yeah, that is what I'll also say. Yeah.
That is crazy that the person thinks that is not necessary. You guys
Yeah.
have
I,
a lot
wa- I
of
was
emotional support. I feel like the reason why there's a lot of postpartum depression in America is because of people not having that kind of familial support. Because
yeah,
I never
exactly.
heard of that in Ghana till I came here. I had never heard
Mhm.
of postpartum depression before till I came to the US.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
I wouldn't have known that something like that existed. So, that person needs to go back to the drawing board and do some research because women are going through it. Having a
Yeah.
child, like your body change. I was very skinny. Now I'm
This day, this day. Oh, you
See,
guys.
the woman changes psychologically, physically,
Yeah.
mentally, emotionally. Everything about the woman changes when they become pregnant. I had no idea I had fibroid. So like my pregnancy actually gave me the fibroid because if it was there, it wasn't visible, but the hormones brought it out. That was what caused my high risk pregnancy
Just
because they have to
imagine.
make sure it wasn't blocking my birth canal.
Mm-hmm.
So that man, if you don't know anything, just shush. Women go through a lot. So think
Yeah.
of all those people who have given birth to. Hey, my mom has done well.
Yeah.
Fine.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. But what can we say? This is where we find ourselves. So yeah.
So after,
I think
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
so. The next question is: what role does language play in shaping your toddler's sense of identity, especially when it comes to bilingual or multilingual upbringing?
I think if a child has multiple languages, they become very rich in vocabulary because they can express themselves in several languages and it's a plus to them. Like they can find themselves anywhere and thrive because they can speak multiple languages. It can help them academically, it can help
Yeah.
them even in environmental situations where they need like an escape and then it's the language that will take them there. But
Hmm.
working with people with disability and stuff like that also makes me realize that speaking alone is not the only way of communication. Before
Hmm.
felt like okay, I'm talking, but then the non-verbal verbal cues also a means for a child to speak. So yeah, we
Hmm.
want them to learn our language, but don't force it. Kids will pick things up on their own. They take their time, but they will get it. And if it's multiple languages, sometimes it may take a while. But then if
But
you put
then,
that child next to another child who speaks just one language, they know so many things that that kid who has just one language doesn't have or doesn't know. So yeah.
yeah, yes, like
Someone is in
having
the
the
comments.
yeah.
Are you single, Miss Tina?
Guess who? Just
That's
guess
your
the first.
husband.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Mhm.
Please, she's
So,
married. She's happily married. That's funny.
so, so if you are able to have raise children with bilingual traits, it really helps them. It really helps their development, both academically and like just their personal traits. So as Marian said, it's good for you to be able to teach your children your languages, but then also you don't have to force it on them. So that is why once they are growing up, you just try and then speak your language to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
So.
actually have a funny story. So my brother wouldn't speak in Zima at home when we're kids. Like my mom would speak to him, he would speak English in return or something. But then when he went to college, his first year, I was the one who went for his matriculation. And when I went to
Mhm.
his room, he wanted to tell me something and he didn't want his roommates to hear.
He decided to switch to
He's like,
Zuma.
yeah, Hanzama. He went for it. So I'm like, why? So you can speak and smile like that. I knew he could speak and understand, but he would never speak it at home. But then you are telling me we should speak in Zuma because you don't want your roommate to hear what we are saying. So that's a
That's
funny.
really funny. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they know the
Yeah.
kids know. They just don't want to say. But then when it's convenient, they will use it, and it will go a long way to help them.
Yeah, exactly. You have to help them. Like for teaching your kids a language, that one is it's really important. So okay. Our next question is as parents who also run okay, who as working class parents, Yours can be education or working. How do you keep both work and family life healthy and productive, you know?
Yeah. So I used to be an overachiever. See, I was
Mm-hmm.
stressed about school. I feel like I still am, but then I'm not as bad as I was before I had my baby. See, I I'm a straight A student, so if I'm doing something I feel like it's not going to make me get my A, I get so stressed up about it. I sometimes take it out on my husband. So when I was pregnant that summer, I decided not to take summer class because I would take summer classes too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I had this fear that if I stopped studying, I'll become daft.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was constantly, and I wasn't even doing my class full time at the time. So I'll take one class here, two class there, for my class. And I don't know where the fear comes, but I felt like if I don't continue studying, I was going to get down. I was going to get down. So I was always stressing out. But then I went, my school does this great thing. They give counseling. So I broke down during my biology class. That was when I had started like the initial stages of my pregnancy.
Oh yeah.
I broke down at class. I was crying about something, and the professor is like, they have counselors here. You can go talk to them and find a way to schedule your class. Because I was taking 4 classes that semester.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the first time I had gone like full full time, and then
oh.
I was doing 4 credit, like four. Two of them was 4 credits, and the rest was 3 credit classes. And I went to speak to the counselor. It's like, you know what? Just breathe. Like I did breathing exercise, and I felt so good. I started feeling guilty that I was feeling good breathing the way I was. Because I'm always busy, 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 trying to stay busy.
Yeah.
That's how I always am. I don't know how to sit down. Even when I'm sick, I feel like if I lay down, the illness will overcome me. So I need to get up and be active. But
Mm-hmm.
after speaking to the counselor, I realized I felt bad for my husband because I felt I was kind of neglecting him because I was stressed.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I made a U-turn, and then when I come home, I'll study for a bit, close my book, go make dinner, do other things so it doesn't look like I'm spending 5 hours straight studying because I want to get an A.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
semester I got all A's, but then one A minus. It doesn't matter, but still,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That is really good. Sometimes we are just too hard on ourselves as parents, and I'm also a perfectionist. I always want everything to be perfect, and I realized that was just destroying me. So, at some point, I decided not to be a perfectionist. I would do
that's
what I can. If I'm doing something, I make sure I do it well, and then uh focus on that, do it well, and then when I'm done with it, I'm done with it. I don't go back to it. So that was me. That was what I tried doing, and it has been helpful for me.
yeah.
So as parents, if you are managing a career, if you are managing parenting, family life with your um career and everything, you need to strategize, okay? And most of us are perfectionists. You don't have to let that particular trait overcome you. You need to know how to work around it. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, now I don't sweat the little things. I don't stress out as much as I used to. I used to get anxious about exam because I'm like, okay, I want to get a perfect score. So I want to go through everything over and over again to make sure I've gotten everything. But now I'm like, yeah, whatever will happen should happen. So
Yeah.
after having a kid, I guess I've let down my shoulders a bit. I've kind of relaxed, slowed down a
Mm-hmm.
bit. I feel good. I feel good.
That's awesome. So our next question is, in what ways do cultural traditions influence the way you approach discipline or early education for your toddler?
So I usually try to. emulate my mother. My
Mm-hmm.
mother had 5 children. Well, she had six, but one died at birth.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but I tried to do everything that I saw her do. When my mother had our youngest sister, I was 17 years. So I literally raised her with my mom. So she's like my
Yeah,
big.
that's what the elders normally do. Yeah.
So
So.
I kind of had some experience from watching my mom
Mm-hmm.
raising us. And so I try to pass that on with how I'm raising my
Mm-hmm.
toddler.
Mm-hmm.
When I had it, I wanted to give her the bath the way my mom used to bath my sister and all of that. But in America, they don't do all of those long things. So I did it for a few times and I'm like, okay, I'm done with this.
I was even struggling to do that.
Oh, I knew how to do it because my mom would do like massaging the baby with the shea butter, turning
Mm-hmm.
the. I was doing all of that, but then I got tired of it. So with those things, it's your mother or your mother-in-law who comes after you've had the child that does all of that for you, and
Yeah.
then start, like, teaching you how to do their nurturing. So maybe by your third or fifth or fourth child, you are like a pro in that field. But
Truth be told, I think when we brought my son home, I was even scared of bathing him myself. I felt
oh,
like he was too fragile for me to hold him. So my husband would do everything like bathe him and all those things.
oh.
Oh yeah, I was even scared.
We love a supportive husband. We love a supportive
he
husband.
would
That's sweet.
he would do those things. I always say that. So when we had this boy, for me, I was even scared of doing those things for
Oh,
him. Yeah. So,
no.
but yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I try to do. Like I didn't give I didn't give my toddler a binky because I didn't see any of my siblings use binky. Like in the very beginning, she would suck on like the funny thing is during my first ultrasound, this child had her thumb in her mouth. She was sucking her thumb in my belly. I looked at the thing and I was like, when you come out here, you will not be doing this like the African mom in me. I'm like,
Yes. You won't suck your thumb in this
but
house.
I didn't let her do that. She sucks her tongue right now. I'm trying to let her
Oh.
like my mom when you're doing something and she tells you she still doesn't understand the concept. So when she's doing it, I try to like push her tongue in and she goes back
Mm-hmm.
like no. So those are one of the things like I try to emulate what my mom did when she was
Mm-hmm.
doing that thing. She did a good job because all her kids are doing really well. So yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They do a good job. For moms, you can never go wrong with most moms. Actually, I'm talking from experience too. I also try to emulate what my mom did raising us. Yeah. So and then also use the traditional things that I know in Ghana. For example, you need to raise your child to respect elders, but then also you don't have to prevent them to share. You don't have to prevent them from being
Sharing
able to be outspoken. You have to. So you can, American children are raised to be outspoken. Ghanaian children, they they normally we are normally not that outspoken. So you cannot just use only that Ghanaian part to bring up your child. You need to blend those. So yeah.
Yeah, you are so right. You are so right with that statement. Like I tell my husband is very straightforward and blunt. I'm like, you don't have to say it like that. Like, but that's the truth. I'm like, no, you don't have to say it like that. Like, but I'm telling the truth. I'm like, yeah, but say it in a nicer way. Yeah, but me, sometimes I find it really hard to tell somebody they are wrong because of the African child. You can't just go and tell somebody they are wrong. But my father, on the other hand, was the one who made us speak our minds as kids.
Mm-hmm.
I had a really good relationship with my dad. Like when I was very young, everything I'll go tell my dad. Everything I'll go tell my dad. I remember when I was vying for girls' prefectship in school. I don't know if I've said this story before. I feel like I've said it before. There was a girl in my class, um, and I was a class prefect at the time, and a lot of my classmates did not like me because I was strict. So they are like, okay. she's from our class. We want her to become the girls' prefect. So if she has done anything to any of you, she'll come and stand here. You tell her, and then she'll apologize to you. I haven't done anything to this girl. This girl goes
Mm.
and Marian, born. And at that time, I didn't understand what born means. So,
Uh-huh.
and I asked my dad, because my dad speaks 7 Ghanaian languages.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him, Daddy, if someone says born, what does it mean? And he said, who said that to you? I'm like, somebody from my school. It's like, next time somebody says that to you, tell them, don't call me that or don't say that
Mm-hmm.
to me.
Mm-hmm.
Means you are pompous or arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
So on a different occasion, that same girl, and the other him say, hey, I didn't let her finish. I'm like, hey, Papa, someone will be out of country and So my dad instilled a lot of
Mm-hmm.
confidence in us. Like all my siblings are outspoken. I'll say the two young ones are kind of shy, but the three of us, me, my brother, and my sister, we were
Mm-hmm.
very outspoken when we were kids. I
Mm-hmm.
could tell I'll come if my mom and I had an issue, I'll call my dad on the phone. Daddy, mommy, like I'll go complain about my mom to my dad. My dad knew how to talk to me to calm me down. You know your mother, so you
Mm-hmm.
calm down. Oh, I apologize on her behalf. You know, African mothers will never apologize to you.
No, 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 they won't.
So my dad would be like, "You, I'm apologizing on her behalf. You calm down." And like my dad would like talk me out of it. My dad, I could go tell him anything I felt, whatever I was what anything that was upsetting me in any moment in my life, that's the one person I could call and tell, and I wouldn't feel judged. I wouldn't feel they wouldn't tell me you are a child, keep quiet. No, my dad made us speak up our mind. So when other extended family members are trying to like hush us, I'm like, that's not how we grew up. My dad made us speak our mind. Like my dad did, like he sometimes he even give us essays to write and he'll make us read it in front of him and then he'll correct which ones we didn't do so well. And then my dad boosted our confidence. So,
Mm-hmm.
you are right. In our culture, they try to, oh, you're a child, stay in a child's place. You don't speak like the aspect of, okay, when adults are speaking, you don't say anything if you haven't been asked to. That aspect I'm going to transfer, like I'm going to teach my toddler. But the aspect where you, the adults, you are wrong.
Yeah, but you
Child
don't
knows
want to accept it.
you don't want the child to speak the truth because you are older than the child.
Mm-hmm.
That aspect of our culture, I do not agree with.
Yeah,
And
that's
because
true.
they have this saying, if a child and a grown up have an issue, the child is always wrong. That is false.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this because
They always say it, and it's
I've experienced things like that with people who are older than me. And because they are older, I don't say anything. My husband is like, why? I'm like, that's our culture.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
He does not like that aspect of the culture. That's not
Yeah.
that's not fair. I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah,
exactly.
you can't. If it was my dad, I could go tell my dad. But these other people, they don't understand that concept that a child can have their own mind. And I'm not even a child anymore.
Yeah, but they still see us as children, even at this
Exactly.
age. So
Exactly.
it's funny.
So yeah, I'm going to make sure my child is confident, but also
Mm.
respect. There's a
Yeah.
difference between being respectful and confident and being disrespectful. So
Yeah.
there's like
Mm-hmm.
a huge difference between that. So yeah, she's going to be confident. She'll be able to express herself. But then when um she's going too far, or if I realize, okay, this one is that's the line. You don't go to that extent.
Yeah.
I'm going to train her or teach her to do the right thing. So yeah.
Exactly. Okay, thank you so much, Marian. Our next question is what personal habits or daily routines help you stay mentally balanced while juggling family life, cultural expectations, then with school or like career? So, yeah.
So I would say in the past, before I met my husband, my happiest place was in church.
Mhm.
Going to church. I enjoyed going to church. I enjoyed singing at church. I enjoyed dancing at church. Like when I was in church, there was this thing about it that I guess it's the Holy Spirit that I was always overjoyed being in church. Then I met my
Mhm.
husband. my family also became the one thing that I find fulfillment in. So right now, I would say it's still God first, family, and then I would say school. And then I love the outdoors. So my husband and I we try to go camping every summer. Sometimes we go more than other times. Like we go to the beach or like do a lot of outdoorsy stuff. And then right now, say because I've fallen back into crocheting, I'm learning new things in crochet. Growing up, we just do maybe a backpack, or but then now there's the internet, so I can make endless things. Like I can make different things with my crochet. So yeah, crocheting is one of them. Going to school is also one of the things I enjoy doing. My husband's like, you always say every school you went to was the best. I'm like, oh, when I went to this school was great. You always say all your schools are great. I love school, and it's because of my mom. My mom had 5 kids, went back to do her diploma. So yeah, I'll wake up in the middle of
Mhm.
the night. She's sitting in the couch holding her book like this. Sometimes because she goes to work morning to evening, comes back home, watches the news, and then when we all go to bed, she'll wake up steady. My mom will be like this in the couch, sleeping. But then she had a distinction with 5 children.
That's awesome.
That was my motivation. I told myself, if my mother, who has had 5 kids, has been able to go back to school and been able to get a distinction in her diploma, then I have to do better than my mom because I don't have kids.
Yeah,
I didn't have kids.
yeah, definitely.
I didn't have any kids, so she was my biggest motivation. And
That's
now my
awesome.
biggest motivation is my kid and my step kid because I want them to see an example in me the way I saw an example in my
Mm-hmm.
mom. So
Mm-hmm. That's good.
that
That's
thing
really good.
I think motivates me to do all the things that I do in my life.
Yeah, that's really good. So yeah, for me, staying in routine, I always try to. As you say, I do a lot of things all together. But the way I try to stay in routine is to kind of try and plan my day. Sometimes I don't follow the
You're
plans, but
really good. You are really good at that. I'm not organized like that.
sometimes I try to follow all the plans. But I guess you need to have a motivation as to why you are doing something. So for me, yeah, as you said, my son, and then the children out there. I love working with children. So yeah, basically, yeah, that is what
That
gets me to stay into routine. Yeah. So
is great. Yeah, altruistic. That's how they say it, right? Someone who puts other people's needs before them. Like you're thinking about all the children out there who would benefit from all the good things you're doing. Oh yes, I got my book and I can't wait to read it. Go grab your
that's
coffee. Go
awesome.
grab your coffee.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
I love it. I started reading it. I'm like, I don't want to read everything. If you want a copy, go grab it. And I realized because I couldn't find my phone and I tried to use my computer. My computer's camera is terrible. So I'm like, okay,
Same here. Mine is terrible.
I have to do it again. So even though I recorded the video unboxing it, I have to like maybe start afresh. It's
Yeah,
not
that would be good to see.
yeah. So
Okay,
what's
so we
your
are
favorite
on our
food?
last question.
Mhm.
How important is it for you to create a support system among other immigrant moms, and what tips would you share with those seeking community?
So there's this saying that it might seem cliche, but it's not. No man is an island. If you need help, ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
Postpartum depression is real. Like as Africans, we tell ourselves, "Oh, we are not depressed. We are just broke." No, you are. It's not about being broke. Sometimes you need someone in your corner. You need
Yeah.
other mothers who have experienced this before to be in your corner to give you guidance to help you because in a foreign land, it's not like our country. You can just go to any auntie out there and be like, Auntie, please just hold my baby for me so that I can sleep or I can rest. Like my neighbor
Mhm.
offered watch my baby whilst I sleep, but You can't expect people to do that for you all the time. But in Africa, it's
Everything.
like it's normal, Me
Yeah.
trying to do that here, I felt some way about it because my neighbor is elderly, and I don't want to like stress her out. She didn't
Mm.
mind. She didn't mind. Like I remember my baby pooped every day, and I was happy about it. The one day that she didn't, I was so stressed, and it's normal. But then she came, she showed me what to do. She pooped right away. So
Yeah. That's nice.
yeah, so I have gotten help from her before, but if you need help, ask. There are a lot of resources out there for mothers. There's play groups around, there's home visit services. Take advantage of all of them because it will help you a great deal. I don't know, here we have a Ghanaian community here, but they are mostly students. But
Oh,
there's
okay.
like a mothers group, but it would be nice to have something like that. The girls in the we did a girls hangout and it was so great. See, I didn't even have to carry my baby when I was there. All of them were carrying her and making sure she was good. So having other women around supporting you makes you feel
Mm-hmm.
secured in yourself, makes you feel comfortable. Like you feel confident that yes, I have my sister
Yeah.
around. I have these friends around who are here to support me. It's not easy having a child in a foreign land with no like close family member around. It's very difficult. That's why
Mm-hmm.
a lot of postpartum depression in the
Yeah, happens. Yeah, in the US. Yeah. Yeah, as you've said it, as you ended, that is why the situation here, like not having the support system as a new mother or as a mom, is what causes a lot of postpartum depression here. So if you have that opportunity to have other moms around, I will ask you to please take advantage of that, and then make use of it to help you yourself. So yeah, that is what I have to say because Marian has said it all. So yeah,
this was a great discussion, like usual. Please
yeah,
like if you didn't catch us from the beginning, you can go back and watch. You will enjoy it. I promise you.
yeah,
It's always
exactly.
been great discussion. So just
Yeah,
go back and watch and you will enjoy it. Okay.
let us know your comment. Let us know your thoughts
Yes.
in the comment section. So yeah. So before we go, please get a copy of
Get
my
your
book.
copy, get your copy, get your copy.
The next magic waterfall, it teaches children about teamwork, environmental management, and the importance of clean water. I also have these coloring books
That
for children. Yeah, so please try and then get it. So now I have them on my website, safari-treasures.com. If you're in the United States, you buy from me. I'm doing free shipping for my books. So you're welcome to buy from my page. And if you prefer Amazon too, you can buy on Amazon. If you're out of the United States, please buy on Amazon. So yeah. Thank you. And please remember to subscribe. Marian, do you have any last words?
I'll say just be happy. Don't sweat the little things. My sister told me this 2, 3 years ago, and I still keep it in mind. Don't
Yeah,
sweat the little things. Like what will be will be. How did they say? Kiss rat.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
over to you.
Thank you so much to all of you who joined us today. We appreciate that you were able to join us today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels and continue supporting us. Thank you, and thank you, Marian, for joining me today.
Thank
Our next our next one will be on Marian's channel. So that is Crafty Ajo. So
you.
please follow her or
And
subscribe
please,
to her YouTube
I,
channel.
I have one person to get to. Is it 290 subscribers? So you one person go and subscribe. I'm not even asking for
Okay.
much. I'm not asking for much. That person, just go and subscribe. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Stressing me
Okay.
for nonsense. All right, bye guys.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
One.